So something I know your fans would probably be interested in hearing about is whether you're writing on any other books, particularly considering our channel, about anything about psychology of language or linguistic stuff. Can you say anything about that?
Sure. I just finished an afterword to a new edition to The Blank Slate, which should come out in 2016. I'm also begun work on a book tentatively called The New Enlightenment, a manifesto for science, reason, and humanism, which expands an article that I wrote for the New Republic a couple of years ago called "Science is Not Your Enemy."
No, I read that.
Which argues that source of meaning and value and purpose and progress is the scientific worldview, as long as it is directed at maximizing human flourishing. It kind of sounds like mom and apple pie. It sounds banal, but actually it turns out that not that many people believe it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make the case.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading that then. So we've heard in previous interviews, and you've already mentioned the bookshelves, that you're a voracious reader. We were wondering if you could recommend some book that you've read recently for our viewers.
David Deutsch's book, The Beginning of Infinity, I found mind-expanding. He's a theoretical physicist at the University of Oxford, and even though he's trained as a physicist, he writes broadly about epistemology, cognition, and his thesis is that the human mind is capable of generating explanations. That's where our power comes from. We are coming to understand more and more of the world by means of deep explanatory theories, which we then hold out to reality to see if reality refutes them or not, that there's no limit to our understanding and there's no limit to the problems that we can solve, both intellectual and practical.
Wow.
But it is a work of, I think, tremendous depth and insight.
That sounds really interesting. I think the only thing of his I've seen is in Jim Holt's book from a few years ago, Why Does the World Exist?
Oh,
and there was a section where he interviews David Deutsch about it and sort of like different explanations of where the universe came from and all of this stuff. So, but I haven't read anything by Deutsch himself.
But there's a deep exploration of the philosophy of science, including a very sharp refutation of the idea that scientific hypotheses are just summaries of empirical data, that they're just generalizations from sense observation, and he argues that they really, the essence of science is explanatory theories, and you hold them up for refutation by the world, keep the ones that are not refuted, so it's very much influenced by Karl Popper, but very much opposed to the idea that the point of science is to predict the future or to summarize data.
Interesting.